Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. You know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got these skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What is going on? It is the live post-game live Friday everything live episode of the Post Podium podcast. Let me tell you something. Trade deadline coming up real quick. Tuesday, right? There's one player that I think can make a huge difference for this team if we had the balls to trade for him. Stay tuned to find out who that is. I am your co-host, Aramis.
And I'm Key.
And this is the home of the All Truth, No Sodium takes. Welcome, y'all. We getting ready to talk about this game. There's a lot to talk about. Well, maybe. But
There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. But let's where you want to start off, Key? Where you want to go?
Hey, man, you know what? We're getting a little bit of a late start. Let's pop right into the game.
Let's do it.
Hey, so, you know, matter of fact, how about this? Let me start with my own thesis statement. This is going to be the catch, hook, line, and sinker. For you guys that can't tell, I'm under the weather. Just being here today, I'm just happy to be here with y'all because it almost didn't happen. But fever, sweat, whatever the case was yesterday, it's almost behind me. I'm a little moist over here right now, but we're going to let it ride. That's moist. The word. That's the trigger word. You know what's the triggering? My question. Actually, like I said, my thesis. The Bills were exposed last night, and there's no excuses going forward. Now, you might ask, what do you mean by exposed? We just won? Everything was firing on all cylinders? What kind of idiot are you? Let me ask you this.
I think I like where this is going.
Who did we trade for before the game yesterday?
Wait, we traded for somebody?
Right. Who did we acquire in free agency that played meaningful snaps yesterday? I'll wait.
That played meaningful snaps?
Yeah.
You talking about Norman?
No. The answer is nobody. Where I'm getting at with this is, you mean to tell me the whole time the talent's been right here in Buffalo? It's been on this team the whole time? We've had Shakir. We've had Kincaid.
Leading receiver
Shakir. We've had Kincaid.
Yeah.
We've had Gabe Davis that actually can get the ball in other places besides down the field.
Maybe.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
I'll give you maybe on that one.
No, I mean, but heavens to Murgatroyd.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we don't have to make a trade to be good. We don't have to make a trade to be competent. We actually just have to coach and get out of our own scared shadow.
Yeah, 100%. I think that offensively is the idea. I think, you know, when you're looking at the 11 personnel, which is primarily what we ran yesterday. I think there was like 10, maybe 20 snaps of 12.
If you want to call it that.
Okay.
Only reason I say that is because you got to think, who was our backup tight end?
Yeah,
it was Reggie Gilliam. Reggie
Gilliam in there.
Reggie, he's had 2 offensive snaps. 2.
Okay.
David Edwards, I think, had 11.
Yeah, I don't even want to get.
But the thing is, he had 7.
Where was Quentin Morris?
He's hurt.
Oh, okay.
He's the ankle. So he had. My
Wait,
point
so
is
we
this:
only have one tight end on.
We had one tight end. That's why we ran 11 because we had to. We had no choice but to run 11.
Why in the world was Norman active?
Oh, you didn't see the 2 special teams tackles? I texted that to you last night. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I was in and out during the game.
Okay, yeah.
Like once we were up 24 to 10 or something like that?
I don't know. I can tell you right now, I got enough rest on Wednesday night because from 4:30 Wednesday until 7:30 yesterday morning, I was asleep. Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. But
yeah, I mean, you said you even called off. Like that,
I called off from both jobs.
Like any kind of phone call coming from you
it
towards
doesn't
the
happen.
job is like the end of the world.
And since you guys are post podium fam, I'll tell you, one of my jobs I called off from is a work from home job. Right. How do you call off from home? I used to make that joke. Do you have to go to the building when you call off from home? No. I just was screwed. But no.
I'm not going to be able to make it in today.
Yeah. And no, the bad thing was my boss told me it's about time. I'm like, man.
Oh,
no lie. Yeah.
Wow. I love you, bro.
Just, I guess I had to bring a note. But yeah, but the thing is, when you look at what they did last night on offense, Diggs was not even a target. He wasn't even a focal point for the first, 4 passes? The first 2 to Shakir, and then the second 2 to Davis. And you had, they were humming. They were going.
Right. And
they were moving right down the field. Guess what else they weren't doing? They were predominantly shotgun. Predominantly 11, predominantly somebody other than Diggs catching the ball.
Predominantly running out that dang shotgun.
But
I like shotgun for passing.
I do too. You know what? I thought about it. That play we hate, the reason why it sucks is because they don't do anything but really hand the ball. That's a perfect RPO.
Well, no, they did. They did. It wasn't a duck. He buried the screen ball to Diggs.
Okay,
that was a fake handoff. That was your RPO.
Yeah,
They are trying to do different things. I commend them for it, but you could tell that was the first time we've ever seen that the entire season.
Right.
So that tells me, how you're not practicing it regularly enough in game for you to be good at it at all. And really, if Josh is throwing the ball like that, did you just bring that in? Throughout these 4 days just to be able to be prepared for this game?
You know what's funny? What was very telling is Sal Capaccio said when asked how do you prepare for this game, he said, I think we played Sunday night. Mm-hmm. So it had to be Monday, or it was either after the Sunday night game or Monday.
Sunday at 1. Sorry, Sunday at 1.
Sunday at 1?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Game. Yeah.
So it had to be after the Sunday game or Monday early on the radio, where he said you really just go and play. You don't really have time to install something new. You don't have time to really do anything extra. So what that tells me is this was something that the offense actually took as creative license. They said we can't install anything, so let's do what we want to do. Obviously within certain parameters, but
no, you know what that was? Knox is on IR. For those of you who didn't know before now, Knox is on IR. Right. And on top of that, they only had one tight end.
Right.
Who happens to be a non-blocking tight end.
No, right.
So we have no choice.
But Josh didn't have to. They had a design quarterback run. They had. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is not in the game plan. This would not have been a game plan thing. I really doubt that they would game plan this, especially with a quarterback with a bad shoulder.
Agreed.
Which I got more on later. Okay. More on that thought later on. But I found the offense to be moving yesterday. I found that Diggs still got his targets. We found that Davis found his voice. I mean, he was good yesterday. But this is kind of my thought. When I think about Gabe Davis, I think about him as a kind of guy that I want to see. I'd rather him have 50 yards per game than have 96 yards every other game. You know what I mean? Contribute every game as opposed to every other or every 3 games. I want you to show up in the stat book every time you play. It doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be something vast. It doesn't have to be something that blows your socks off, but it has to be consistent. And up until now in his career, he hasn't been. So I'm ready to move on to another number 2 at some point. But while he's performing, just perform. Go out there and play for your next contract, wherever it may be.
Right.
You have any thoughts on Davis, though?
I gotta be honest. Davis, this is his career. Mm-hmm. He has these types of games where you get soaked up into it, and you look at his size, you look at his speed, at his strength, his blocking ability, and you say, damn, man, he just give him a little bit more time and he could become Eric Moulds. You know what I'm saying? That to me is the hope for a guy like that. Mm-hmm. But then you have games like last week. And really, let's be honest, the games like last week happened more often than the games like yesterday happened.
Exactly. Yep.
Right? And I mean last week in terms of, the game against the Patriots, the Sunday at 1 o'clock game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for me, I think what got me to the point of crossing the name out on a jersey, for those of you that didn't know, I did that on the episode Monday because our camera guy fell asleep.
Oh, you missed that? Oh man!
Yeah, right when I went to go do that, it's like, yo, why did it cut to me? It was on you the whole time.
Oh,
Like
I was listening, but I ain't watch it. Oh man!
My God.
And he lived. The cameraman lived.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been revealed now.
That explains why I have to sit in this chair now. I get it.
Right,
I get it.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean that is the thing that got me to the point of, if I can't depend on this guy as a number 2, and the most productive has been as a 3, when it was Beasley, Diggs, and Davis.
Yeah.
That's when he was his most productive. That's when he had his biggest return on investment. 2 years into having the number 2 wide receiver job, I just haven't seen anything that's like, yeah, I can trust this guy.
I understand. Yeah, I'm 100% there. I definitely am not vouching for his job or anything like that, but I think that while we have him, I mean, unless we're gonna find a way to get Sherfield involved, I don't know where he is.
That's the thing. Like, I hear some people say, they don't have another guy to replace Davis. We've seen Sherfield play.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what really gets me is Shakir gets an opportunity, produces. Sherfield hasn't had an opportunity, but when he does get the ball, he's productive, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can pull this up. I want to see how many targets he's gotten this season versus how many catches he has. I just want to see like maybe what his catch percentage might be, how productive he is with the time that he gets on the field. Does he even get targeted much when he's on the field? That kind of thing, because for what we're paying Shakir, what we're paying for Hardy, those guys were in a position to have some big opportunities yesterday, and they really didn't get any.
Right. And to answer your question real quick, 9 targets, 6 receptions for 44 yards, 66.7% reception percentage.
I mean, that's higher than Davis's.
Mm-hmm. And people are going to contend that Davis has a lot more targets too. So, it's a product of excuse me, it's a product of availability, a product for opportunity.
Right.
But like you said, Shakir has actually stepped up in every possible opportunity he's had. And I've yelled for him since last year. Get a man a chance. Everybody in Buffalo, everybody in that roots for this team wants to put the next name in a spot somewhere on this team, i.e. Derrick Henry, i.e. Patrick Tan, i.e. whatever, which would be nice if you had the funds, you had unlimited assets, you could do whatever you want, sure. But if we could do it, everybody would do it too.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be as viable a team as high market teams like the Giants. Everybody want to go to L.A., Vegas especially. Who wouldn't want to be a Raider, if you could go there and get paid whatever you wanted. Buffalo would be screwed, So, I mean, let's just be happy that there is a salary cap and not try to do the roster gymnastics that they think they can do. And the point of me going into the show the way I did was to illustrate just what you're saying. We have the horses, give him the opportunity. Sherfield, give him some targets. Mm-hmm. Shakir, what has he done wrong? I mean, a man looked like a slot receiver yesterday.
100%.
I mean, that's your guy.
He has to be. He has
Gotta be.
Like, I mean, I don't even know how you go back to a 12 from this.
I don't know. And I'm a Dawson Knox fan, and I can tell you I'm good with him being a backup. I'm good with him being a TE too.
Yeah, I'm good with him being traded. No offense.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm not married to him, but I think he does have a value. I think he's a better Tommy Sweeney. I think he's a better, he can block. He's definitely a good blocker. If you're going to use David Edwards in the fashion you use him, you may as well plug Dawson Knox in there. It'll be a viable option in the pass. Obviously, you don't feel as good with him with the ball in his hands as you would with Kincaid.
Yeah.
I think he had like a 92% catch percentage before the game yesterday.
I think if he had a more team friendly contract, I would because I really liked him too when he was still on his rookie deal. Mm-hmm. But once he got the bag, in my mind it was like, you got to start catching touchdowns now. Yeah. Because for the 48 some odd $1 million that he got, and out of that we really haven't gotten anything, because the 9 touchdown year was the year before his contract kicked in. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, okay, well, how much production, how much return on investment have I really gotten from the guy? And I feel bad because I feel like
No, I mean, you shouldn't.
There's so many things that you can call out about this team, and especially about this game. I mean, I don't know if you're ready to get back into that from where we were, but just with certain players and the way that they were paid versus how they're used and all that kind of stuff, it just. I feel like we kind of beating a dead horse.
No, I just wanted to give Dawson a little grease. I mean, you look at last year was by far his lowest target percentage. He only had 27 targets last year, caught 15 of them, only dropped 3 balls. And that's not me trying to defend, or negate what you're saying. It's just the fact that, once again, you look at his targets in 22, 77 targets, 80 targets in 21, 58 targets in 20. His rookie year, 53 targets. And, he had 9 drops in his rookie year, and he actually cleaned it all up. With his 16.7 this year, but last year he had 8.2. He had his best year in drop percentage wise last year. And that kind of goes into, do you want to pass on the ball? Why was he getting targeted last year when he was our only tight end? I can't answer that, so, is he warranting that contract? Probably not, but is it him or is it the offense? If I saw a higher percentage of drop balls, if I saw such a drop off, and he had seven touchdowns last year from 11 the year before that. So, I mean, I get it, and like I said, I'm not defending him because I understand, especially being the numbers man I am, with the money and the cap that we don't have, right. We could use that elsewhere. But, I think that Dawson Knox is definitely somebody that could be at least a TE2 right now on the team that we just had. We're nowhere at the position outside of Kincaid.
Right. Yeah, I think, I mean, man, did you see those catches that Kincaid made yesterday?
The touchdown?
Both of them.
I was thinking about the touchdown was ridiculous. Yeah, I saw that one.
The sideline catch was ridiculous, and that touchdown catch was insane.
Yeah.
Like, for him to catch that in stride, and it looked like there was no hesitation at all.
And that's the difference.
I've never seen a tight end make a catch like that.
That's not in Buffalo. That's the difference. And, I mean, would Knox have caught it? Maybe. Would he have caught it in stride? Probably not. Would he have gone down after catching the ball? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
But with the ball in his hands, he, like we talked about many times, he actually can run you over, and he actually is pretty quick for his size. But Kincaid is a different animal. Once again, as I like to say, that was my number one prospect in the whole draft of 2023. So, I mean, now we see why. That's we just got to use him. Right. Got to use him. And you see the first person to congratulate him when he scored a touchdown, Steph Diggs. Who he almost knocked his helmet off, but whatever. And fun fact, did you hear what Kincaid said?
No.
He said, Buffalo fans, don't take this to heart. Don't get mad at the kid. He said, honestly, he felt claustrophobic when he did the Lambeau leap. I don't think it was his cup of tea. I think he instantly regretted it when he got up there. But he said, I felt claustrophobic, honestly. I was like, well, don't do it again then.
Yeah.
Blow the crowd a kiss, give somebody a ball, high five, whatever.
Throw the ball up there or something. Yeah.
You don't have to do that. We understand, Just keep catching the ball and all is forgiven.
Right. So, what were your takeaways defensively from the game?
Okay. All right, can I get this out of the way first? Let me get this out of the way first.
All right, go ahead.
And I wrote this down, and I'm going to be completely unbiased. People that know us, they know how we feel. Well, especially how you feel, but they know how I feel to a lesser extent.
I'm ready to go in.
I'm not going to go. Well, you might take me there, but I didn't come in here with the pretense of going in.
Okay.
I will say, if you look at my point here, the defense is a world better than Frazier. Is it? I mean, is it really? And the last drive, the last half was super conservative. It really was. And I thought it was Frazier who was scared of his own shadow. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody painted him as. I thought McD was Mick Stones. No? Mm-mm. No Mick Stones. Okay. So did you know that we're 28th in the league in blitz percentage right now? Probably. 28th in the league. Yeah, you know where we were last year?
What?
We're 22nd under Frazier in blitz percentage. You know where we were the year before that? I didn't even look, but it's higher than 28th. So let's call a spade a spade. You wanted to see something different. I get that. Not you. Mm-hmm. But Bills fans, they want to see something different in the defense. I don't know what they call defensive aggressiveness, what's more aggressive, what's maybe you understand it because I just see this as more than one way to skin a cat.
So this year's defensive line scheme, and I would have to go back and do some research on this because looking at what the defensive line does in general, I think honestly this is almost. I'm just trying to double check what I'm about to say. I think this is just about the same defense we've seen with Leslie Frazier. Mm-hmm. And the reason I can say that is you still have the corners given plenty of cushion.
Yep.
4, 5, 6, 7 yard cushions on third downs, right? The defensive line I think is maybe a little bit more aggressive in terms of trying to get penetration on every single play.
I'm just going to stop you right there because I wanted to ask you this. I actually had this question. Do you think that that's a product of the scheme or a product of the talent on the defensive line now?
Penetration?
The effectiveness or the aggressiveness and the tenaciousness that they show when trying to get to the quarterback.
And the question is, do I think that's a manifestation of the
defensive line scheme or the talent that's on the line now?
There's nothing that I've seen schematically that gives that defensive line any type of advantage. They don't do a lot of twists and stunts and stuff like that.
It's mano a mano.
Right, yeah, it's exactly what it is. So all of the penetration, all of the work that our defensive line gives to the offensive line is the players making it happen. It's their aggression, it's their force, it's their will that's being had during those plays.
Yep. And I mean, and the last thing, I didn't want to take away your point, but the last thing I was going to say was Rousseau to me last night. For everybody that loves him, he was non-existent in the pass rush. If you go back and watch the drive where we had him pinned on the 1 or 2 yard line, whatever it was after the turnover run down. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mayfield had all day back there, and Rousseau was he stood out to me because he was at the bottom of the screen and he was going 1-on-1 against the right tackle. Mm-hmm. No moves, no. He tried to power rush him. Mayfield could easily skirted out of there and ran right past him.
He should not be playing defensive end on third down.
No.
Period.
No.
He in college they put him inside on third downs.
Yep.
That is his bread and butter. And can he play that at the NFL level? Yeah,
he's done it. Yeah.
Right.
They didn't use him like that.
Right. And on top of that, his skill set it's not befitting of a defensive end on third down. He doesn't have the proper bend. He doesn't take the right angles. He's not a pass rushing defensive end. Therefore, you got to get him going against guards with shorter arms and are usually typically smaller in stature. And give him the physical advantage over those guys.
Yes.
A quick swim move or something like that, and he's in there.
Especially if you have a Floyd or a Vine. Well, I don't want to say Vine Miller, but a Epinesa or something like that on the outside next to him that can widen.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You would be eating.
Yeah, that's perfect. Right. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do we? So this takes me to this question. As a whole, do you think that this new scheme helps or hurts this roster on the defense?
The roster as is?
As is.
With the injuries. And that's the thing. I don't like the fact that everybody says, well, all these injuries are decimated, blah, 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 blah. You can adjust for that.
Trey White was a shell of himself last year, so he was technically not here.
Right.
Who else?
Von Miller was
in and
gone.
out of the lineups. Daquan Jones was in and
he
out
was
of the
hurt.
lineups.
Von Miller was gone.
Right.
I mean,
same difference.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So I mean, Milano was Milano here the whole season? I don't.
Yeah,
he probably was.
Milano was like the stalwart.
Somehow he's the savior. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we had no Hyde. We barely had a
right.
Poyer.
We had no Hyde, no Poyer, but we still finished with a top defense.
Right.
So, no, I think that this scheme. I don't like the scheme for the players. I just don't like the scheme for the players we have. If we had our starters, you could do whatever you want. I mean, you got Bernard back there playing his butt off. You got Milano back there who was all-pro level. You had Hyde and Poyer who were healthy. Yep. Poyer dropped more interceptions last night than he has, made plays all season. I mean, he was playing out of his mind last night. Right. Benford was sticking with Mike Evans better than I ever could have imagined him to. disregard the touchdown. I mean, he had, he got beat on one play, but if that had been Elam, he'd have been crucified. And Dane Jackson, his name wasn't called that often, so that tells you he was doing his job. So, no, I mean, the scheme did no favors for us last night.
Right. So, I think when I look at the scheme, it doesn't look, aside from certain, roster packages, personnel packages and stuff like that you might see, like that turbo packages that they run with Poyer as a linebacker,
mm-hmm.
and all that kind of that, like, the personnel packages is pretty much the only thing that I've seen that's different from how this defense has looked in previous years,
right.
Because the coverage, the coverages is probably the only thing that is slightly different from those other defenses. Some of the coverages that you might see now versus the cover 2 scheme that Frazier likes to run,
mm-hmm.
right?
So what are you saying, more cover 3 or?
Yeah, more cover 3. Definitely a lot more man than Frazier used to run. Sean seems to really like cover 0 on third downs for some reason now.
When Kyer's out there.
I mean, Mayfield called it at I think it was the last drive before they scored the touchdown. It was the series that they had where Phillips got the rough in the passer, or the face mask rather.
Mm-hmm.
That whole first, second, and third down, on third down in that particular series, on third down, I think there was a timeout called or something like that, or they were going for it on fourth down, and Sean wanted to see the offensive formation, and then he called the timeout or something like that. And Mayfield was coming back towards the sideline. He's going like this. He saw 0, right? So, like, you don't have the dogs to get home with cover 0, and you don't have the guys to keep coverage in cover 0 either.
Right.
And my point in bringing all this up in general is, defensively, you as a coordinator are not helping your defensive players be in the best position possible to make plays. What they're doing is they're doing the best that they possibly can to adhere to a scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it doesn't fit them, they're doing their best to adhere to a scheme.
We saw that with Rex.
Right, exactly. And we saw how that worked out. It's not.
Right.
It didn't.
Right.
He got fired.
Right.
So when I'm looking at that, I'm saying to myself, okay, how is it that you are choosing to take over a defense and you're choosing to put it on your shoulders, but this is the defensive production that you're getting from guys who've been, like, all of the second stringers have been with this team at least 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
At least. And the only guys I'm talking about that have been there for a year or less are rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else on this team has been here at least 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So how do you not have enough of an inventory to know what guys can, what certain guys can do, what certain guys can't do, even after injury?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
You got to be familiar with the people.
And then on top of that, this is the part that makes it worse, and this is the biggest point that I want to make, because to me this is the overarching theme of this particular game, which is Sean plays not to lose. He plays tight. He plays scared. He coaches in the most traditional defensive sense. Yesterday's game was about field position, playing defense, and keeping it safe.
I had 2 points on that because I'm glad you said that. Did you know I actually have a weird stat, but also they knocked it out of the park yesterday a couple of times. I don't know if you caught it, or if you guys caught it at home, where they said on the broadcast, they said, and they kind of tongue in cheek. They didn't, we know because we're Buffalo, but they said the team, whether what phase you're on, whatever kind of coach you have, they take the personality of the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so with you saying that, you play scared not to lose, blah, 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 that's what we saw last night.
Oh, yeah.
we could have buried that team. We could have stopped them. They didn't have to score that last touchdown.
Right.
They didn't have to. So in essence, Mr. Aggressive that everybody thought is not the way. It's not.
It's not.
It never has been.
Exactly.
But they were just tired of Frazier, which I get. Maybe you are tired of seeing Frazier's face. Maybe you don't think he's got the fire. Maybe you don't. Whatever the case may be. If you wanted to change, a change. But I don't think the change you wanted was McDermott.
Right.
Whether you want him as a head coach, and like I told you guys a million times, I'm not lobbying for his job. I know the other side of the table is, but I'm not lobbying for the job.
I want that dude out of here.
I know you do.
I'm just saying it.
But what I want you guys to really understand, and it came home on the post game show. It came home on the show this morning. He can't be the DC and be the head coach.
He can from the standpoint of we've seen it done. But if we're talking about just Sean McDermott.
I'm talking about Sean McDermott. Yeah.
Sean McDermott specifically, he cannot be allowed to continue to do this. He can't.
Yeah, no. I mean.
And it's not even that he can't handle it. What it really boils down to is his philosophy for how to play defense as a whole, and his formula for winning games is outdated. Because if you look at what won the game in convincing fashion yesterday, it was an offensive scheme and an offensive style that is the exact opposite of what Sean McDermott likes to do.
You want to take it a step further? Sean McDermott he's the overarching voice of all the plays, complimentary football, right? Mm-hmm. Did you hear the stat this morning on the Jeremy White and was it Joe DiBiase show?
Yeah.
You hear the stat?
No.
This is the first game in 30 years where a team has gotten within a yard or past midfield on each of their last 4 drives and punted on all 4 of them. So what that's saying is there is no aggression, 0 aggression, and that bleeds through every other Mr. Complimentary football. That bleeds through every other component of the football team.
You know what Julian Edelman said?
What?
On Colin Cowherd today. He said, this is exactly how Sean likes to win games.
Oh, yeah.
This is how he likes to play.
Yeah.
This is what he wants to see. Guys like Sean who are defensive-minded, because he even put Belichick in the same fashion.
I don't think I heard him say it, but I feel like I'm hearing what you're going to say.
Yeah, those type of guys like to win that way. They like to play field position. They like to punt the ball and let their defense, just choke people out. Mm-hmm. They like to, play it safe and keep everything tight and close. And, you know what I mean? Like all those knockdown, drag out, old school traditional style games. Like that's what they love. The field position and all that. That's what they love to see in a football game.
And personally, I respect it, even though I don't think it wins you games, because that's how I play in Madden. Remember that? All my Madden games, I punt it and I play field position.
Listen, in Madden, I was the Bills. Okay, scratch that. I was the freaking greatest show on turf. Okay, in the leagues that we used to play, and every single time I thought I was going to line up against Keyshawn and just blow him out of the water the same way I did everybody else, or even for people who were good at the game, and it would turn into a shootout, and I would still find a way to win at the end or come up with a big play or something like that and just dominate. Our games would be like 6
just
to
how
10.
I like it. Just how
I would be so pissed.
Like I wasted my time. My night is gone. My wife is calling for me. I got to turn the game off for this.
Yo, I would be so mad. Yo, because on Madden I would get the jitters. Like if I haven't scored and it's been like 30 seconds, it's too long. You know what I'm saying? And Key would be making me drive like 17, 20, 22 plays.
Dink and dunk me.
Just to get a field goal sometimes. I'd be like, yo. And then what was worse was he was so slow on offense.
Yes.
So slow. The play clock would be down to like 1 second, and then he might hike the ball.
I'm spamming R1.
Right.
Hut.
And it wasn't even like a million different audibles. It'd be like 1 or 2 or something like that. And then his offense would be sitting there waiting to hike the ball. Like, dude, let's go already. Let's go. Nope. I got to make sure I'm thinking this all the way out. I'm making sure I'm seeing where this all, like, yo. But yeah, you're right, bro. You're right.
That's literally how that's it. So I maybe that's why I'm like, I get it, because forever I wasn't ready to let go of defensive football. I really wasn't, and I see now that I'm outdated, which is fine. But I'm not a head coach, so like I said in my notes, let's just call a spade a spade. It's not even an indictment. It is what you are.
Yeah.
So maybe even at, what is he, 48, 47, 48 years old, maybe you need some younger infusion of thoughts, philosophy, whatever the case may be. If you don't want to give up the job, I'm not going to ask you to, but I'm going to ask you to freaking figure out how to bring the game into the 21st century.
That was something that was suggested on the radio. Just bring somebody in with a little bit of younger blood, younger, thoughts and mindsets and ideas, because, one of the things that Colin Cowherd talked about on the show today was I don't think it was today. It might have been after the Patriots game on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
He said there's no creativity with this team.
Mm-mm.
None. If you look at all of the different gadget plays and things that they've done, it's stuff that Dayball did when he was here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Dayball left and now there's 2 or 3 or 4 different formations and things that we've never seen before.
Right.
Like, nothing is original with this offense from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And that's sad. It's sad, but that's what you get when you have a traditional defense, a traditionally defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
And not just a traditionally minded defensive head coach, a guy who believes so staunchly in his own philosophy, and also for some reason, and this I was thinking about this on the way here. It's almost as if Sean McDermott believes deep down in his soul that if he tries to adapt to today's day and age of football, he'll be sacrificing a part of his spirit or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so far against his character and against his very being to not try to win the way he believes you need to win games, that it's going to cost this team another playoff game this season.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I mean, let's be honest, it's Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
Right?
It has to be at this point.
Right. If we're Super Bowl or bust, I mean, that's what they got in their in the field house. You know what I'm saying? That's what they got in the workout room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's championship level. So if that's the mindset, then it can't be, I want to run to 12. I want to keep games close. I want to try and make teams one dimensional. Every team ain't trying to let you do what you want to do to begin with.
No.
So the name of the game is, how many different ways can I win a game?
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the other things that I heard Ken Dorsey talk about was adjustments. And when he talked about adjustments, he was talking about, the way he described it. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the exact quote in front of me. Forgive me.
Right.
But the way that he talked about how they make adjustments, they don't look at what happens in a game and say, okay, our game plan that we had at the beginning of the game isn't working. We need to do something completely different.
Right.
What he said was, we may make a few adjustments, but ultimately the game plan stays the way it is.
That's all they got.
Right, exactly. This lends to the point of there being no creativity there, because if you are so set in your ways of, okay, guys, this is how we plan on winning this game, and we're going to go in there and we're going to force it to happen, and any other team kicks your teeth in the first quarter, and you're sitting there looking stupid trying to figure out what happened, and the mindset is not, okay, this game plan ain't working, scrap it, let's do something else, what do we got?
Right.
If that's not the mindset, and you're kind of doubling down on, nope, guys, We're not going to budge. We're not going to let them force us out of what we want to do. We're going to stay the course. We're gonna, like, this is stuff that we've heard McDermott say. We're going to stay the course.
Yep.
And we're going to just believe that this game plan that we created is going to work out somehow.
If they say so. Yeah, if they say so. I mean, I would love to be on their side with that, but it's just not defendable. It's not defendable at all.
The fact that the Tampa Bay Bucks were able to get into position to throw a Hail Mary, in which, man, let's be honest.
Did anybody even look at the ball?
How could they? Every single Buccaneer down there had a Bill draped all over him. They were basically wearing capes that were Bills jerseys while they were trying to run down there and get in position.
I'm sitting like it just fell into a dead spot.
Listen.
Godwin
was literally it went just over his head. He was in position. If he had turned around in time, that's an instant touchdown.
Yeah. And
game over at that point. Because Godwin's a good receiver. You ain't knocking that down.
Yeah, he's a very good receiver.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, well, how the heck did they even get in position to do that in the first place? Like, it looked exactly like 13 seconds. You just giving these guys yardage. Okay, we'll give you 5 yards to and this is the other thing. They had no timeouts. They had, what was it, 18 seconds and no timeouts? There's no reason they should have been able to make it into position to get a Hail Mary, right? Like, let's process this for a second. 18 seconds, no timeouts. You know they have to throw it to the sideline. As a defensive coordinator, what am I trying to do? I'll keep my two safe. Right? Mm-hmm. Y'all hang back. Anything that gets thrown that deep anyway, y'all gonna beat the receiver there.
Right.
So I'm not worried about that. Y'all stay deep, right? I might even be okay putting 3 safeties back there.
You had Taylor Rapp in the game most of the game anyway.
Right. Roll 3 safeties, 1 linebacker, fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Have your corners. Listen. Everything inside. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you do, everything inside.
I mean, let's face it, they don't have a burner. Who's their burner?
That's what I'm saying. They don't got nobody that can burn the defense like a Tyreek Hill and nothing like that.
We've seen burners this year, and they don't have one.
Right. But instead, you treat them as if one of their guys has a turbo button on their back or something like that nobody knows about, and they just gonna get a 60-yard touchdown over the entire defense. Right. When they have not done that the entire game.
Right.
They didn't even take a shot like that the entire game. Like the longest pass play that they had was the touchdown to Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. That was the longest pass play they had. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
No, it's probably to who's a running back. It had to be because the running back was only
Rachaad White. Yeah, but that was like yards after catch.
That's all you mean. Oh yeah, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was the longest through the air pass play that they had was to Mike Evans.
Baker Mayfield does not have an arm. It's like I mean,
a small guy.
He makes it work, but he was putting everything he had into those throws.
Right. It looks like he's working hard.
He was working real hard. It reminded me of Fitz. I mean, he had more zip on it than Fitz, but. And this is another thing. While we're talking about defense, I don't know who the guy was on the radio last night, but he said the Bills in the first quarter, the first 4 games were annihilating people. So while you saw me fumbling around while you were talking, I was listening to everything you said, but I wanted to see what we're looking at.
We were annihilating people?
We lost to the Jets. Okay, we lost to Zach Wilson and the Jets. I mean, the Dolphins game, we gave it 20 points. It really wasn't an annihilation. The Washington game was annihilation. Yeah. The Raiders game, it was just average. It was an average game.
Yeah, all the way through, because it wasn't like we, got up. Like, we didn't pile the points on quick in that one. It was just kind of gradual.
It was a slow grind.
Yeah.
But annihilation, I mean, see, that lends to what people are seeing when they watch the Bills. It's like, are you seeing what's happening, or are you seeing what's happening in your mind?
They're seeing what happens after the game.
I guess so.
Especially if they're, like, let's be honest, man. Like, a lot of people drink during the games. Like, it makes sense that they wouldn't remember exactly what happens during the game, and, they go and look at the score and they think, man, 38-10, we destroyed those guys.
Yeah, and I can tell you, we didn't. I can tell you on this side of things, the journalistic side that we have now taken over,
Yeah.
it's different watching the games because you taking notes, you're running stuff back, you're running stuff forward, you listen to what they're saying. And I mean, when I get into the game, I have 5 pages of notes easily. And my mom's like, what do you mean you have 5? Why do you have so much? I'm like, I don't know I have that much. It's a lot, you know, and I'm like, then when I watch it again, I'm like, oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed this. Oh, I missed that. So annihilation didn't happen. One game.
Right.
One game. And you know that in the NFC, and this is where we really have a struggle. In the AFC, we're 2-3. NFC, we're 3-0. Too bad. Those NFC games don't come into play unless
they don't count.
Right. We're killing NFC. But we got to start winning these AFC games. So we're looking at Cincinnati, Denver, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Dolphins. Those are the teams we have to win. Eagles, fine. Cowboys, fine. But guess what? The names I just rambled off. Those are the games we got to win.
Yeah, but here's what makes it harder for the Bills now too is you've already got 3 losses.
Yes.
Right? You got 3 losses through 8 games now, right? 7 games?
8 games.
8 games.
8 games.
You got 3 losses through 8 games now.
Mm-hmm.
You had 3 losses all of last year. Right? And you didn't really get your 3rd loss until week 10? Somewhere around there?
Somewhere like that. Yeah, so, let's see. Let's look it up real quick. Let's see. We lost week 3 against Miami. We lost week 9 against the Jets, and we lost week 10 against the Vikings in the debacle. So
yeah.
I mean, we'll go ahead and classify this no contest as probably a loss because they were on their way. So they caught up with us later in the season.
Right.
But your point is taken. I mean, and it's all over any podcast you watch. I mean, the ones I watch, you pretty much have to run the table. You pretty much have to run the table at this point in time just to be in comfort of not missing the playoffs. And
that might be even just to win your own division. Because while the Dolphins are, they're struggling against, teams over 500.
500, yeah.
They still got, a lot of, like, their schedule is easier than ours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have the harder schedule of the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that, their offense is going to be dynamite the entire season.
Yep. Let's look at who they got left.
As long as Tua is healthy, right?
Yeah.
They got
the Patriots. They got the Chiefs. They got the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans, Jets.
Oh, my gosh.
The Cowboys, the Ravens, and then us.
Yeah, like the last 3 weeks of the season, okay, gauntlet. Kansas City Chiefs, that offense, that game is going to be a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. I'm sorry. That game's going to be a shootout. But you're talking about Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets. Yeah. That could be a 5-game win streak.
Could be.
If Jalen Ramsey comes in and now all of a sudden that defense can play just a little bit.
Yep.
Right? And let's really be honest, that Cowboys game, that could easily be a win if this defense if the Dolphins
they play their game,
can play just a little bit.
They play their game, they're going to win that.
Right? And they're playing the Cowboys in Miami. So Dak Prescott don't play well away from home. So you're looking at a team that could possibly go on a 6-game win streak late into the season.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got no choice, man.
No.
You got to make it happen now.
Yep.
Right? And you got the Bengals coming up, man. You're going against a team that has taken what was the best college quarterback and has now made him into what a lot of people believe now is the second best quarterback in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
In Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Right? And defensively, your mindset is to play aggressive. While you play aggressive, you still give cushion, which is, in my mind, an oxymoron. You want to penetrate every down, which leaves you wide open to screens all day long. You really don't mix that up. And this is the thing too. The idea of being a penetrating style defensive line.
Yeah.
Duh. Every single defensive line is trying to get penetration.
You would think so. And I thought that was strange. I'm like, what? And then what you didn't know, well, you probably knew because you're way better at this than I am. Daquan Jones is one of the best penetrating defensive linemen in the league.
Oh, 100%.
And you know who's one of the worst?
I think he was the best before he got hurt. He was tops in the league.
Yeah, he was either number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
But you know who's the worst? Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips is the worst. And it showed the last 2 weeks, last night and last week.
He can't get any penetration.
He can't get penetration. He can't hold. He can't anchor. He can't do anything right now. Can we please play Miami? Please, can we play Miami? It seems like that's the only time he wakes up. Yes. He gets pissed off in Miami because of whatever they did to him 6 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That he gets up for that game.
Yeah, he gets off on it.
And I you know what? I was a Jordan Phillips fan. I still hold out hope for him. I don't think he's a starting D tackle, but I think he's a rotational. And you know, let's give it up for my man Ed Oliver while we're at it.
Yeah,
let's give it up for my man Ed Oliver.
He's turned into a beast, and I feel bad because with his skill set and his ability and playing next to Daquan Jones, that defensive line was dominant.
It was ridiculous
on the inside.
It was ridiculous.
But he just cannot seem to find a guy that
can
stay
get a
next
tag
to
team
him and stay healthy.
He needs some Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer. That's what he needs.
Right. It's insane.
Maybe they need to draft one.
The most frustrating part about it, bro, who did we draft the year that Jordan Davis was available, and we just passed right over him?
You want to say it? Go ahead.
I actually don't know who it is. I need you to tell me.
So you said who? Jordan Davis is what? That was
that would have been
last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Well, 2022.
Yeah.
We took Elam. We took Elam last year. And you know,
no, Jordan Davis wasn't last year. He was the year before.
I know.
Elam was last year.
Well, last one was Kincaid. Kincaid was rookie. Elam was
yeah.
So Elam would have been
Elam. It was Elam.
Yeah.
So we passed up on a monster of a man, a beast of a football player that could have been a stalwart next to Ed Oliver. Jordan Davis ain't had no injuries so far. None.
Yeah, they were worried about his commitment. They were worried about his weight management. They were worried about a whole bunch of nonsense. And that's the Bills' MO. They're worried about nonsense that doesn't really show up. You know, and it's not just McDermott. Look at Miles Jack. His knee was supposed to explode, so they said. He retired without a serious injury.
Right.
Had a full career.
Yep.
You know, all these concerns they have, these character concerns, the guys actually check out. Heaven forbid these 20-year-olds are 20-year-olds at some point in time and they do something. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Listen, this may sound like a conspiracy theory. This may sound like I'm just fishing for stuff to say about this team, but I think my theory, I'm gonna call it the Allen theory, because really, when I pointed this out, I went back and watched the show, and man, it hits heavy, right? The quarterbacks that were available when Josh Allen was drafted, the mentality of those quarterbacks would not have put up with half the stuff that's going on in Buffalo so far.
Yeah. And we talked about that last show. Remember, we talked about how, you know, Lamar Jackson would have clowned them.
They would have spoken out. They would have made it clear, yo, I'm not being put in the best position to win.
Like, this ain't it.
Especially Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson knows his power. He knows his ability, and he's confident in it. And I think that is the thing that Sean McDermott has looked at and said, I don't want guys like that coming here. I don't want guys that I'm going to have to worry about speaking out against me or taking over the locker room from me. I don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I want a bunch of guys that are going to come in, they're going to shut their mouths, and they're going to do what they're told. And that's it. Every single player on this team is the all shucks, humble, I'm not going to make no waves, I'm not going to, go against my coach type of, except for Diggs. But they didn't draft him. They just traded for him.
And they tried to get rid of him at one point in time.
Exactly. Right? Every other player on this team has that small school mentality. They weren't the best player on their team.
Yep.
right? They were the overlooked guy. They were the guy that, you know, people thought was going to get drafted in the second and third round, Elam.
Either that or a big fish, small pond kind of deal, like Christian Benford, a Villanova kid or something like that.
Exactly.
Nobody knew about.
Exactly.
Saran Neal, nobody knew about. Tyron Johnson, nobody knew about. And I don't care if you think you did. You're probably living somewhere where they play college that you heard about them. But I can tell you right now, nobody really heard these guys.
Right. But these are the guys that Sean wants, because if you want to be able to be a micromanager, and and he likes to say, you know, I don't want to micromanage guys. Okay, Sean. All right. Anyway, these are the kind of guys that you want. If you want the kind of control that he wanted, where you're just controlling every aspect of everything that happens in that building, these are the type of players that you want. And I'm sorry, these players with these types of mentalities are not the guys that you want on the field in the playoffs, going against the Bengals, going against the Chiefs. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, the only reason that they got to the highest level that they did back in 2020 was because they took the league by storm that year. Nobody had any tape on that offense. Nobody had any tape on that version of Josh Allen. That's how they got past everybody. 2021, what happened? They didn't make it to the AFC Championship game. They ran into the Chiefs.
Right.
And then that was the first moment that we got to see Sean McDermott's ugly defensive philosophies rear its ugly head.
Yeah.
13 seconds. Like, what about what we saw last night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't remind you of 13 seconds? I know I already said it, but.
And I just said, I mean, people were saying that on the radio. It reminds them of 13 seconds. And this is the thing. Do people forget that it was reported, that it was out there, that it's out in the open, that we're not making it up, that McDermott overruled whatever the call was that resulted in 13 seconds? Did people forget?
Yeah.
Because I saw a post on Facebook last night, and obviously, you know, I'm not going to use it as some credible, you know, ironclad thing, but they had a picture of Frazier say, "You miss me yet?" And it was about 300 posts of just like I remember 13 seconds, just like I missed 13 seconds, just because it wasn't him. It wasn't him. And it was said. It was reported by internal sources that he overruled it. So stop it. Stop feeding the narrative. If you like the guy, you like the guy.
Right.
But if you don't, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just use facts. Just say you don't like Frazier. Like I said earlier, say you don't like the way he looked on the sideline. Say he just looked like an idiot. Just call a spade a spade. That's my point of the show. Call a spade a spade. And you see your boy Dorian Williams got the Kyrie treatment yesterday. He got 18 snaps, all special teams. Not one defensive snap.
Oh, God.
Not a one. So what they did was, in essence, they used Poyer as a linebacker.
Yep. They
brought in Taylor Rapp, and you know, obvious passing downs where they couldn't depend on T-Dot. So Dorian Williams, you're on notice. You better fix it fast. Question for you though, I had this to myself. Is Terrell Bernard our best defensive player now? I mean, obviously, I'm not counting out Milano. I'm not counting out, you know, if Von Miller comes back to form, whatever. But as it stands right now, is he the best defensive player we have out there?
No, I would say he is slightly behind Oliver.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, because with Oliver taking on as many double teams as he probably is now, and still having an impact on the interior as he's had the last 3 weeks, he's still a stud.
That was my other. That's kind of the one I was thinking about, Oliver.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's the guy now.
I don't mind seeing the cowboy thing, whatever.
Yep.
I want to see it.
Yep.
You know, do it. I know he got fined for it. Hey, everybody, 91 cents his way every time he gets fined for it. 91, not $91, 91 cents. Everybody that way.
Send a man 100. Like,
I can't do it. I can't do that. I can't do it.
Send him $1.
But yeah, and I think we covered the offense. I think we covered the defense. Special teams. I'm gonna ease up on Hardy. I'm gonna ease up on him. While he's not a 4.26 speed, that boy's got some. He got some quicks to him.
Yeah.
I mean that. And God bless the punt coverage team for not getting a penalty on that reverse field.
Oh,
because every time that happens, there's a penalty.
Every time.
I mean, and I was just waiting.
At least.
Right. I was like, well, just coming back. No flag? What happened? I stood up and I clapped. I said, I commend you guys. That's beautiful.
Wow.
And the last thing I wanted to put in your ear, trying to get your thoughts on, what are we getting for Kyer on Tuesday?
Probably a box of Band-Aids and
right. Yeah.
Oh man, I really, my hope is that we can trade him for another corner.
This is ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous. I gotta be honest. I'm not looking forward to the Bills doing anything that I would like. But I think like I teased at the beginning, if there's a player out there that would make a major difference on this team, I gotta be honest. I think it's gonna be oh my gosh, that's exactly who I was thinking about.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's exactly who I was thinking about, because he's got the size, he's got the speed, and he's got starting experience that you need to be able to to count on him in games. Now, he is more of a man corner, but he's not as much of a press man corner as Elam is, in terms of that being his bread and butter. He can play both. You got his coverage numbers?
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah. Let's see. I gotta find them. You can go ahead. I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So, there are other guys out there like Danielle Hunter. It's too late for Danielle Hunter. He's a little bit. I think next year he'll be past his prime anyway. I don't want to see him come here.
No.
Am I interested in Aaron Donald at this point? Yes, but I think for his cap hit, and what it would cost to get him, I don't think the Bills are making that move. Probably not the type of guy they want in this locker room anyway, because he definitely would not put up with Sean's stuff.
Who's that, Danielle Hunter?
No, Aaron Donald.
Oh yeah, no.
So those are some of the names, and I'm just looking at positions of need. We need a one tech. I did hear the name floated around, Andrew Billings. You know anything about him?
Yeah, I liked him when he came out of Baylor when he first came out, but I mean, he's an undersized one tech. Was that?
I said useless as a pass rusher.
Yeah, he's like 6 feet 310 maybe. So he's a one tech. He doesn't get you any penetration. I think we could do better.
Yeah,
I think we could do better.
Basically a Tim Settle that knows how to play one tech.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
We got that guy.
And according to Pro Football Focus, Jalen Johnson's a 70.2 in man coverage, and in zone. Where is he?
Is he in there?
Right there. So he's real good in zone.
Whew.
90. He's a 90. That's exceeding relevance. So he would be a great fit. But my question would be, why would Chicago get rid of him? Do you have any intel on that?
They're selling. They're selling. So whatever they can do to get picks. I think if you offer them Elam You know, nice young corner with just about the same size and who is actually faster than Johnson. Yeah, I think they would bite on that. You give him Elam and you give him a pick.
They might try to throw Tremaine in the thing and send him back.
Yo,
they are tired of him over there already. I don't know what he did, but they're sick of him.
What would you do if they did trade for him back?
Huh? If
yes.
How could you do that? How could
yes.
if they made cap space for that, I would flip my lid. Because there's no amount. It would make no sense.
Or Bernard can move to weak side.
I don't want Bernard moving, and I don't want Tremaine. I don't even want Tremaine. I want Bernard to see whatever number Tremaine can wear. I want Bernard to have domain over. I want him to have domain over Tremaine. That's what I want. Because there's no way in a free world this man comes back to Buffalo. I don't think he want to. No, I would never say never.
Never take that contract.
I don't know it. No, not the contract. They can't. Even if they wanted to, they can't.
Yeah.
That's the only saving grace. That is the only, because we'll have a what's his name? The guy that keeps coming back, the linebacker, AJ Klein situation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because they love Tremaine, they just couldn't afford to pay him. He didn't love Buffalo as much as people thought he did. So yeah, so Elam. I mean, it's almost a sure thing he's gone. Which is sad. What was it 18 months, 19 months, 17 months, whatever it is after drafting a guy? He had, 11 games he's played in, and you get rid of him. That's not a good look.
No.
It's not a good look for your front office. It's not a good look for Bean. It's after he's got finished talking about how he got and gave up on Wyatt Teller too soon.
Yeah.
Just said that.
It makes you think, though, was that a Bean move or was that a Sean move?
Somebody's covering something.
100%.
And until I get to the bottom of this, I'm done trying to figure out what the front office, because I can't even look at these guys with a straight face anymore. Because somebody's lying.
Right.
But I just don't know who.
Well, I think we can think this through and you know, yeah, this is kind of speculation, but based on what we know, it's more of an educated guess. I mean, ultimately the decision gets made by Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Right? At the end of the day, every decision that comes to a conclusion and is executed has to ultimately be approved by the man at the top, which is Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, you know, even if we did have draft picks that came in and didn't work out, they weren't drafted unless Sean was on board.
Right.
Right? So, you know, Sean approves of these guys, he brings them in, and then all of a sudden finds out that they don't work out. And instead of blaming Sean for approving them, we blame Bean. And you think Sean is going to get in the way of that?
No. Got to have a scapegoat.
Exactly.
Especially if Dorsey doesn't come through.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the other thing. The amount of built-in scapegoats that this man has year after year after year after year, it's almost like that's part of the plan for the season. Like, okay, this is the plan, but who do I have in case it doesn't work out?
Just in case.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost too good to be true how many times it's worked out to save Sean's job.
Yeah. And that's the way it's going to keep working. I mean, you keep giving us these close games, these nail biters that shouldn't be. People are going to start to see. And at first it just came out like us hating, but now that you listen, more people start sounding like us.
Yeah.
You know, people are starting to call into the stations. They're starting to put in blogs and pages what we've been saying.
Yep.
Not because they're listening to us, because they have seen it now.
Right.
You know, they're paying attention to it. They're not blinded by the nonsense. And whether you listen to us, whether you like us, but that's all we wanted you to do.
That's it.
All we wanted you to do is, even if you agree with everything they're doing, have your own reason why.
Yep.
Damn,
that feels good, don't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not, and I realize, you know, I in particular may not be everybody's cup of tea when it comes to, you know, talking about the Bills. I go through it on a regular basis whenever, you know, I'm driving somebody doing Uber or something like that, and they bring up the Bills. I feel like I'm almost talking them out of liking the team.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, this is what you're up against.
Yeah.
And unless you're one of those guys like a Sal Capaccio that just, well, this is part of the game and I'll just, I'll love the team regardless.
Right.
All right, well, I mean, you getting what you're paying for then at that point, because
and you can love the team without just believing everything they tell you.
Exactly, and that's the point. I like to keep my eyes open when I'm walking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't want nobody pulling nothing over my face and telling me, just keep walking straight.
You're good.
Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, trust the process.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
That's exactly when you think about trust the process. That's exactly what he's saying. Trust the process.
Right. Just trust everything that I'm saying, not what you're actually seeing on the field. Just trust that in another 10 years we'll be in position for my vision to have fully played out how I wanted it to.
And you'll forget I even said this. You have forgotten that we had this conversation in 10 years.
Right. Like the moment they decided to run it back, you knew at that point that was the complete fruition or the complete manifestation of Sean McDermott's vision. You don't run it back if you think the team can be better.
Right.
At that moment.
Right. Yep.
At that moment, we officially lost as a franchise because your coach basically admitted, and I've never said this before, but I've thought it. Your coach basically admitted, well, I did everything I know how to do.
Right.
That was the best shot we had. The best chance we got the following year. Let's try it again. See if it works.
Yeah, and for the people that, and you're going to clown me, for the people that are old enough to remember Get Smart, the TV show Get Smart, basically it was loosely what Inspector Gadget was based on. It was a real TV show back in the 60s or early 70s. That was mine too. But the thing was, think about Inspector Gadget and like a James Bond kind of, it was like a, what do you call it? Like a comedy version of James Bond.
Okay.
And every time he do they have him in a headlock or something like that, and he would try to do a move he couldn't get out, and then somebody would knock him out or whatever, and he'd be like, I missed it by that much. And it was like just completely screwed it all up, but I missed it by that much. He always said that.
Right.
So that's what McDermott said. I'm going to run it back because we missed it by that much.
Yep.
Even though it was colossal failure.
Yep.
That much. Cosby used to say, when he tried to fix him, I think one of them, it was they rang the doorbell and something in the kitchen went off or the light flickered or something like that. No doorbell, but he'd be like, I almost had it. I know what I need to do. No, you don't. Just think about it. If it didn't work and if you have the capacity to fix it, try it.
Right.
Don't run it back.
Right.
Because that one move might be the difference between making it and not.
Yeah. We got to get to the offense real quick before it's time to close up. I
Sure.
think we got 10 minutes. You think?
That's about right. Yeah.
Okay. Offensively, man, and I think we texted about this last night. The first few drives. Well, the first drive, you get to the goal line, and they ran what? They ran
a run to Murray,
and then they did that little scoop play to Kincaid.
They tried that,
which
I liked.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen that. Okay, kudos. But then third down, what did they do?
Or what they really did is they got outsmarted by the defense. Because
sure.
I think Josh thought it was a man because he snapped it right after who was that? Was it David? He signaled the other guy to take Kincaid coming out. See, they sent Kincaid in the motion, and David came with Kincaid till he got to the line, and then he stopped and he pointed and he put past them all.
That was a run play to Murray?
No, that was the fourth. Are you talking about the 4 and out?
When they were at the goal line?
Yeah.
Is that what they did on third down?
No, fourth down.
Oh, I was asking what they did.
Oh, the third down. I don't know what they did on third.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that.
So yeah, so fourth. My point is this: you were open enough.
I can look it up. Mm-hmm.
To allow the offense to be free to just go out there and play how they know how to play, and to start off the game, it looked amazing, right? And I wasn't even really. I hadn't yet sat down to watch the game yet. I was cutting hair, like at the beginning of the game, so I was listening. But,
I didn't cut you off. Latavius Murray was the third down. It was 3rd and 1. Latavius Murray up the middle for no gain, after Allen passed to Kincaid for 3 yards, that was the pitch, and James Cook ran for 4 yards on first down to start the playoff.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so all of that is to say, when you let the team play, when you make the decision to let the team play, let the daggone team play.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to get your little fingers in there and make sure that you put your fingerprint on whatever happens. They got down there on their own. Leave them be.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to throw the ball 3 times at the goal line, let them do it. Guess what? That's your best option anyway. We saw up front, your run game ain't going to work against that team.
I would have loved to see a play-action play right there.
Right.
I would have loved to see
Right.
that.
I'll tell you why they probably wouldn't have done it is because of Josh's shoulder, but that's beside the point. The point is you had no business causing that team to run those plays at the goal line. None. And let's be honest, the only reason they did their little pass play to Kincaid on second down is because the last game they played, every single second down that they had, they ran the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's a little bit of self-scouting. Okay, cool, fine.
That's documented too. That's not a makeup. That's
right.
real.
Right. On that down, you always run the ball. And that's been all season long. On that down, you run the ball, period. So now you try to do a little self-scouting and go against against the grain of what you usually do. So, okay, fine. Second down, I'm not going to run the ball, but the other 2 downs, I'm going to run the ball because I'm trying to keep it safe. I'm trying to keep Josh Allen from ruining the game for me.
Yep.
You either going to let the man play or you're not. But it can't be this I want my cake and eat it too. It don't work that way.
And see, I don't want to take too much time on this, but that Josh Allen mishandle, that's an indictment on you again. Your depth management.
Right.
Did you see he went to the tent, and I don't care what anybody says. Somebody knocked on that tent wall and said, "Hey, offense is back on the field. Kyle is warming up. We can't put Kyle on the field. He's warming up. Let's go." There's no way. There's no way. There's no way the timing of that could have been any more like no, that happened.
Who told him to warm up? I don't know.
I don't know.
Grabbed the ball.
Josh, we need you.
We better get him out of here before he starts throwing the ball to somebody.
Dude, you're telling me our quarterback can't rest at all for the second season?
Yeah.
The second season of a shoulder or elbow injury.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get a quality backup in. You don't want to get somebody. You saw in the preseason he wasn't that fella. You saw it in the preseason that Kyle Allen wasn't that fella. Why did you have to get somebody else in?
Yep.
At least on the practice squad, get somebody else in. But you didn't.
So after all of that, we get to a point offensively where we've scored 24 points. And then the show stops.
Yeah.
It becomes, okay, you guys have done enough. Now I'm going to take over. And I'm going to win with my defense.
Hold my beer.
Right. Because now, I don't care what the offense does. Y'all can score 20 more points or y'all can score 0. I got the game from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep getting first downs and score points, guess what? 4th down, my down. Punt that bad boy. Defense, let's go to work. Like, that's his mindset. Like, it's as dumb as it sounds. It's as dumb as it sounds. You had a 4th and 2 on their side of the 50, and you decide we're up by 14. Let's give them another shot. Let's give them another shot. Let's see if they can do it against us this time. Let's pin them deep. Only one time, if I'm not mistaken, only one time when they pinned them deep did they actually stay down there.
Mm-hmm.
The other few times, they got up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And let's be honest, the way that the defense was playing, it wasn't like they were absolutely lights out. They were probably one play from giving up a big play.
Total collapse.
All the time. Right.
Yeah.
Because the Bucs have not had a run game all season long, but they ran up your gut whenever they want it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the trend. Did you notice that? Every team is establishing a run. They're establishing their run against us.
Right.
They haven't run all season, but they're establishing a run when they play us. That's an indictment on your run defense. I'm sorry, but it is.
But that's your more aggressive, your penetrating run defense that likes to, push through and get to the runner faster. No, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's working great. No, you clap it up.
Clap it up. McClappy.
McClappy. That was great when you posted that on Facebook. That was great when you posted like McClappy. That's an insider though. Ain't nobody gonna know what that is, but man, McClappy was great. But yeah, man, I just you as a defensive minded head coach, this is going to continue to happen, and we got to get to closing up. We got 3 minutes. Listen, as long as he is in office, the offense is going to look like this. Even when it's unleashed, there are going to be key moments in the game where he's going to decide to trust his defense more than he wants to trust this offense. And the offense knows it, and so does the defense. And you don't think that taxes a defense's mind knowing we got to go out here and win the game? We got to go out here and do it with second stringers? We got to go out here and do it undermanned? Like, we know we ain't stopping the Chiefs' offense. We know we ain't stopping the Bengals' offense. Like, really think about that. The defense knows they're not going to stop them on every down. They're not going to stop them on every series. They're not going to stop them on every possession. They know that.
Right.
So why are you putting the game on their shoulders?
As we learn from Madden, or our talk about Madden.
Right.
You can't win that way.
Right. But this is, listen, if for those of you watching, thank you so much, because I'm sure by now all of you who disagree with us probably left the show. but man, this is what we got to put up with. As long as we continue to put up with this head coach, as long as we continue to sacrifice our own dignity for the sake of the potential of making the playoffs every season. Listen, it's not Sean, it's Josh who's the reason that we make the playoffs the way we do.
Yep.
It's Josh the reason why this offense plays like it can and like it did last night when we scored 24 points in the first half.
Oh, you mean that Josh that looked like he was having fun last night?
Right.
Did Josh have fire in his eyes for the first time?
That was the first time all season long I saw him looking at the tablet.
Yeah.
Talking to people, talking to players. That's first time all
first
season.
Time.
But I digress.
There's a reason.
We got to get out of here. Where's this music at? Go ahead and give people the Twitter and all that other kind of stuff.
I don't even know the Twitter, man. I don't even know. But by now, you guys should probably know. But join us on the Facebook page. I got a Discord for the first and second half. So I want to start that as we can dialogues. We can talk to each other about what we see on the field. Any other thoughts? I don't care how goofy or how serious you want to be. Let's take it wherever we want to take it. I did put a lot on the page, and I want you guys to join in with me, and let's just have some fun together this season.
Listen, with that being said, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. I'm liking these lives, man. We might have to just start fine-tuning these lives and just start cranking these bad boys out. I mean,
they're easy to do.
Yeah. If we get some feedback as to the opposite, then we'll consider that. But I think for the time being, I like doing this.
I'm with it.
All right, cool. So, hey, we got a mini bye. So we're not gonna see y'all until next? Not this coming Monday, but the following. Well, are we gonna do a show? We can
still do a show. We can still do it.
We can still do a show. We can talk about the upcoming opponents for the season.
Yeah.
We probably
we'll do it Tuesday just so we can talk about the trade dedeadline. It might not even be a Bill show. Let's talk about them.
Let's do it. All right. So tune in Tuesday. So we're gonna go Tuesday. 5:45.
Same
6 o'clock?
Same time.
Okay. So same bat time, same bat channel. Tune in. We will be here Tuesday, not Monday. Tuesday. We'll put out a notification on the Facebook page so that everybody is aware. And hey, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. As much as you probably disagree with that. Thank you for tuning in to the Post Podium Podcast. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
And this is Sick Key. I'll see you later.
Key. With that said, we are out.